Good afternoon, everyone. Curry College Chief for the forecast. Joe Shaka here. We're back again. We had a little problem yesterday with the Wi-Fi, so I wasn't able to get the video out. But here's the current sea surface temperature anomalies here across the Atlantic Basin. We have a couple areas of interest in the Eastern Atlantic, and we'll talk about those in just a second. But I want to bring your attention to how warm the water is relative to average off the East Coast. I mean, look at this, Kate. I mean, you don't get any more perfect than this, but to get a tropical cyclone in close, especially the northeast coast. But there's 80 to 85 degree water almost up to Long Island, all right? And that line, and you'll see it in the video, that line is further north across almost the entire basin now, especially in our part of the Atlantic. And you can see here the blue line's the current, the black line's the average for this time of year now. We have two areas of interest here in the Eastern Atlantic, Invest 94L, Invest 95L. The thing that's going to hold these back from taking off is going to be the amount of vertical shear, deep layer shear that's going to rip these things apart as they try to develop. So these are probably, if they develop, they're probably going to not make it very far, hang around too long. They may make it 2 or 3 days and then be, if you will, getting shredded apart. But again, what we have to watch, I think, and I think some of the models, especially the European and the Canadian, are picking this up, is that there's going to be an area of a shortwave trough that comes through here and off the southeast coast. And there's an area of disturbed weather in the northeast Gulf. That may make across Florida. Make it across Florida over the rest of the week and early next week. There may be something up the southeast coast and north of the Bahamas. And this is an area to watch, I think, maybe over the course of next week, as there's areas you can see here. We know the water, I mean, it is just ripe for development, almost 90-degree water sitting in there. But again, there's also lower shear, lower vertical shear, and lower deep layer shear. So some could certainly organize in there, especially with the height field going up over New England, and that supports lower ridging underneath. So that's something to watch, I think, next week. And also, what I should bring up is that there's going to be a major cool shot, I think, in days 8 through 10, or maybe days 9 through 14. Parts of the northeast here, and I'm seeing it on the European, I saw it on the GFS and the Canadian. All those models seem to be in relatively strong agreement in that time frame. That there's going to be a major cool shot relative to average coming down to the northeast. Maybe some frost and freeze advisories could be needed across portions of the region the last 5 days of the month. But next week, I think overall is going to be another warm week, and then towards next weekend into the week after. Again, the cold air would begin to invade. There's going to be a pattern change that goes on in the northeast. But again, our area of interest for this week and early next week will be off the southeast coast and a little bit here with those two areas of invest that could develop in the Eastern Atlantic. The Gulf of Mexico, I want to touch on this system really quick. I thought it was going to develop. You know, this is a very dangerous area of the Gulf. Things that get in here like to develop, but that El Nino, you know, that El Nino can just really just rip anything. So that's it for now, and thank you for watching.